He claimed that this was a 60-mile-an-hour bike, so we shall see. Hey guys, Alex here with Mini Moto Garage. Hope you all are doing well. Today we're going to be jumping on a mini bike that I got a while back for basically free, and this is kind of what sparked the whole idea for this channel. So let's jump right to it, check this thing out, and see what we got to do to get this bike going. All right, and here's what we've got. Pretty crusty Motovox frame with a Predator 224 swap and some other goodies. The backstory behind this is probably about 10 months ago. I had a John Deere mower for sale and had someone reach out, asked if I would take a partial trade, and I normally don't, but they showed me pictures of what he had, kind of gave me a rundown of this bike, and I told him I could give him $150 off, and he went ahead through with it. I still ended up $100 on top with that deal, on top of the bike as well, so made out good with that, and I think we've got a pretty sweet machine here. Now, he hadn't had this bike running in about 8 months before I got it. We were able to get it running, but it was running pretty poorly, and honestly, it's been sitting since I got it, and that was about 10 months ago. Basically, everything he had told me on this bike is that the internals are stock. It had a proper governor delete. The holes are blocked off. It's supposed to have 22-pound valve springs in it, a thinner head gasket, has the Mikuni 22mm carb, and an exhaust. And I believe that is everything on it besides some of the outside stuff. We've got a tack. It has hydraulic rear brakes on it, and it is upgraded with a 40 series chain. Also some new knobby tires, which I feel like this would be more of a street build, but you know, we kind of had this set up for off-road as well. I want to go ahead and just give this thing a nice wash, and then we're gonna see if we can get this started. More than likely we just be doing a carb clean on it, and if we can get this thing up and running good, we're gonna go ahead and try to take this thing for some rips down the road, see where we're at with it. He claimed that this was a 60-mile-an-hour bike, so we shall see. All right, and just a quick wash on here made a huge difference. Still needs some more cleaning. I did bag the carburetor on here, so go ahead and clip the zip tie on there. We're gonna check the oil on it real quick. We'll give this thing a few pulls, see what it does. Oh yeah, that oil's right up to the top, so, and it looks honestly really clean. All right, I don't think we even need to wipe the stick to check that. All right, I was just about to start pulling, and there is no markings on the on-off switch, so I'm just gonna throw the spark checker on real quick and make sure to see which position is on the run for this one. Yeah, I wanna hook this up before we go pulling this 1,000 times just to find out that I had it in the wrong position, so I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not, but I'll tell you if we got spark. All right, so we got spark there, so down position, we've got no spark, so the one on here needs to be in the upward. All right, choke is up. What do you guys think? Is it gonna start? Because just pulling it a couple of times there, I can already smell the old fuel. All right, take the choke off. I'm not even hearing it pop. Come on. All right, let me grab some spray real quick and we'll see if it'll at least kick over with some starter fluid. All right, we'll open up the throttle a little bit and see what it'll do. All right. Now, let's see if it'll choke off. There's definitely some stuff blowing out of the blower housing on here. All right. I don't think she's gonna run. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get set up to pull this carb off from here. The last video you guys saw, It's just these two Allen screws. I gotta take the throttle out of here and then pop off our fuel line, which we'll just go ahead and probably drain that whole tank. But let me get the tools real quick. We'll get this popped off. All right, got it where it's just about to come off. Yeah, if you guys had smell-o-vision, this fuel smells like paint thinner. It's gotten so old in here. And I think what I'm gonna do is end up reversing the way that he had these bolts mounted. I'd rather the bolt come through the front and the nut on the back, because that was a royal pain to get those loose. Line is pretty hard too, which is to be expected. So we are gonna let that drain for a while, and I'm gonna get set up here. I'll go ahead, I'm not gonna bore you guys doing all the jets because I did that in the other video, but got the 4 bolts on the bottom. I'll show you guys what kind of pookie-doo we got here on the inside, and then I'm gonna throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and hopefully that's all it takes. It's just a rubber O-ring that goes around this outside. It actually is supposed to, yeah, it goes on this side on the bowl. Yeah, there's definitely, this looks just about as crusty as the other carb we had on the last one. I see like 1 drop of water at the bottom, but then we've just got like green gas in here. Yeah, that's coming out almost green. What's coming out of the tank looks more yellow, but yeah, I can see right off the bat that this idle jet is completely blocked up. Float's moving, but we definitely have a little bit of corrosion buildup and stuff on here. Don't see any numbers on the jet. Oh, okay, there is one on here. So this one's a 130. We've got a 130 main. Looks like we've got a 38 pilot. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I gotta get the screwdriver, get these pulled out, get that emulsion tube pulled out of here. I'll go ahead, figure out how many turns in this air mixture screw is, then I'm gonna back that all the way out, float's coming off, and then ultrasonic cleaner, and then we'll double check, spray through all the orifices, and we'll be done with it. Alright, jets are all cleaned up. The main and the emulsion tube were good. I just sprayed through, got all those cleaned up. There was a couple ports here on the pilot on the side, and the main actual pickup was completely blocked. Air fuel screw, that was fine. It was a half turn out. Carb came out pretty darn clean. I'm happy with that. Everything was passing through the orifices, and the bowl is about as clean as I can get it. There's still a little bit of some stuff on the sidewalls, but we should be all set. I'm gonna go ahead and just get everything reassembled on here and show you guys when we are putting some fresh fuel in this thing. Right, I got everything on the carb except for the fuel line, and what I wanted to do was just put a splash of some fresh fuel in here and just let that drain through the line. And once we get that flowing out, clear out the filter and the line, then I'll just go ahead and connect. I just want to make sure it's as clean as we can. I did shake the tank around and everything too, so hopefully if there was anything in there, hopefully we got that all squared away. I'm definitely going to have to get some new fuel line for this, because that is stiff as a brick. Make sure our choke is going to work, so we should be all set there. Put just a little bit in there, make sure we're not spilling over. I can see it feeding through our line. We'll see if that float stops here in a minute. Maybe you guys can see it or not, that little bubble dancing around in there. Alright, so our float should have stopped right there. I did also pull out the screw, cleaned out our little drain area here. So I believe this up here actually is our overflow, so we shouldn't have any issues. Alright, here we go. Sweet. Now that was a pretty intense carb cleaning on there, but I think that's all we needed. Awesome. All right, let me get this stuff cleaned up real quick, throw you guys on the chest mount, and we'll go take this thing a rip around the yard, see how it does, and if everything is good, we'll go take it out on the road. Trying to see if this app would work, and saying we hit 25 on that back stretch, and this bike is running great right off the bat. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing out for a little road test. I don't even think my street is long enough to probably get a top speed on it, but we'll go ahead and see, and if not, I'm gonna have to find somewhere where we can do some top speed tests on these bikes. we hit 53, I think, on that second one. I think it has a little bit more in it still, but 53 is pretty darn fast on this thing. But man, this thing is a blast. It has a ton of torque. All right, well, this thing is an absolute blast to drive and is fast already, so we're definitely going to be doing some mods to this engine and to this bike. We have quite a plethora of projects ahead of us, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this content, and maybe you guys have some suggestions and ideas. Just let me know. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today on the 224 Swap Motovox. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Plenty more content to come. So as always, I greatly appreciate you guys checking out the channel, and if you do like this kind of content, maybe think about hitting that subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.